Go.
What the hell is that? Oh my god. Ram just made it. Oh my goodness. This is really unbelievable.
Hello everybody and welcome to Take It to the Max show. This is Grandmaster Max Dlugy, and I welcome everyone in the 5-minute pool to match up with me. I'm in reasonably good form. This Friday I managed to play in a blitz tournament at the Marshall Chess Club and scored 8.5 out of 9, winning clear first by a point and a half or so. So I should be in good form to give you guys some good competition if you want it. Let's see who's going to be the first taker of that newfound strength of mine. Now what can I tell you about that tournament? In that tournament I played Oliver Barbosa, Grandmaster. I played a few international masters, and basically it was a bit weaker than usual. It's usually a very strong Grandmaster tournament with about 5 or 6 Grandmasters, but this time around it was only me and Barbosa, I believe. And I beat him in a nice game from the London system, and that was it. Then I had to beat young upcoming juniors, 12-year-old Hans Niemann and 13-year-old Nicholas Techeka, who are some of the most talented kids in the country right now. I managed to do that though, and so here I am, and kind of waiting for the 5-minute pool, and there it is, here now, from a faraway country. Looks like Brazil, but I don't know. Okay, C3 Sicilian is what we got, and we're gonna try to do it so that we definitely have an isolated pawn. Notice how my opponent's thinking. He didn't expect that move. Why? Because he doesn't want to deal with a non-isolated pawn situation. So he's trying to keep it. He doesn't want isolated pawns. That's basically what it is. So we'll see if I can do something about it. Bishop e3 I've never seen before, but I quickly play d5 because I want my bishop to be developed on b4. And now probably either knight c6 or pawn takes pawn, one or the other. I think pawn takes pawn makes more sense because I want to win a tempo hitting that bishop, but knight c3 I think stopped it. Stopped it cold. And now maybe I can play queen a5. Try to win a tempo that way later. Okay, then knight c6. Okay, at least I won one tempo. Okay, now I can just develop. Oh my god, I just noticed that queen e5 was winning on the spot, followed by bishop takes knight. That would have been quite ironic to lose like that. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this madness, and then okay. Lots of possibilities, but very limited time. So I'm going to develop my bishop to b4, so I can maybe take that knight at some point and create some pawn weaknesses in white's camp, but at some point is important. I don't have to do it right now. Very interesting piece play. Not sure I'm doing that great here, but there are some ideas, like for example this bishop takes knight and knight e5 followed by bishop b5. Yeah, now what I was gonna do, I don't remember. Interesting. Not so great what I've come up with, I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to play this. It's a groveling game. To grovel into a draw here, or okay, maybe my disadvantage is not that big actually, because I have a good bishop. I have a pretty good bishop here. If I don't okay. Bishop's pretty strong actually. The pawn is not that great on f6, but I have a strong bishop and white's queen side is damaged. I think the position's about equal, even though it looks a bit dangerous for black. Yeah, this one I can play the queen g6, but maybe queen e5. I want white to play f4. That would be welcomed. A welcome sight. Okay, now bishop c6. Aha! Good. Now I think after rook g8, white will have to improve my pawn structure by taking on e5. That's exactly what I want. Otherwise, queen takes queen is a big threat. And then I should be better, finally, in this very complicated position. f3, okay, f3, rook d8, rook d1, rook d4, take knight f5. Should I play h5 at some point? I'll even drop my bishop to e6. Maybe that's the best idea I had all day. Putting my bishop on e6 instead of... Then I can actually attack the pawn on c4 instead of just thinking about it. Okay, that gets defended. Okay, now I can attack. Okay. More rooks to follow. And suddenly it's becoming clear that the pressure's on white to equalize here. Yeah. Okay, clearly not ready to take yet, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, how does this work if I just take the pawn? I don't quite see it. Knight e7, king f8, knight takes rook, rook takes rook, for example. Okay, king f8. Okay. Ah, that one. That's true, but okay, but then we have this one. So, trying to win a pawn up. Okay, that's an important pawn. We're going to keep that one for the future. Okay, grab the bishop back. Oh, interesting. How does this h6, I guess, makes sense, right? This is looking better and better now. Although my opponent is definitely a tough cookie. My opponent is a tough cookie, but it's looking better because now the h-pawn's weak as well. Okay, rook d4. I will actually start the b pawn rolling. That's a good idea. How does he stop them? Okay. Oops. That was a big mistake. Maybe not. Let's see. Ay, ay, ay. That was a huge mistake. Oh my god. Well, I can only win on time in this game, but okay, I mean the opening was very interesting because I think I could have had a major knockdown here. So yeah, this move bishop e3, okay, got me thinking. I suppose I could just play knight c6, but I got a bit twisted out of shape here, trying to make use of this. And now look at this move. What if white played queen e5 check here? I actually would have to move my king to d8 to save my soul, right? That's pretty awful, right? So queen e5 check, I would have to go king d8, then kick it castle with check, and the position would be horrible because bishop takes knight. Check would actually be winning the queen. So that was very, very thankful. I was very, very thankful for that. And of course now I'm developing and it's about equal. Maybe I should have played bishop e7 instead of bishop b4 because now my knight is hit and of course the bishop's hit as well. So I really don't have much choice. So I took here and played knight e5. But what else could I have done? Knight e5 takes. I could have taken the queen. That would have made my life much easier. Yeah, here I should have taken with the queen, and then c4 is not good at all because queen takes c5 is fine, and knight takes bishop, just take the queen, bishop takes knight, take the queen again, and I'm fine. So yeah, queen takes bishop was much better than bishop takes bishop. Here I had to play bishop a4 because I have to defend the d7 square, and after bishop takes knight, pawn takes, at least white doesn't have knight d7 winning a pawn by attacking my rook and pawn. He went back and you saw what happened after that. Anyway, game number 2 against I am soft train, not train. My mistake. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy to see that. Okay, how should I develop? Probably just bishop e2. I think this is my game against Dreyev. Something to that effect. Maybe he played queen b6 and I played queen b3. This is my game against Dreyev from the first round of the World Blitz Championship. World Rapid Championship, rather. Okay, I'm going to play a4. I'm going to stop b5. Yeah, that's fine. Castles is fine. I have the b5 square for my knight. If I take on d5. Okay, now let's see how black defends b7 first of all. And then I'm going to go and ask about the bishop. And go ask about the bishop. Okay, well, I thought pawn takes pawn was a bit trickier because when queen takes bishop e6 could have been reasonable. Here I have a bishop, but it's not just the bishop, it's this other weakness, this a5 thing that just happened. So but I have to be mindful of the knight going to a6 and b4. So let's see how I should best deal with this. Okay, I'm gonna go bishop e2 because I think my bishop's done his stuff there, and on knight a6 I was thinking of pawn takes pawn, and then bishop takes knight. A strange little thingy. Maybe black should have taken with the knight, but that would have changed the structure. Here the b pawn's hanging if he takes the rook, and I think my queen's not that badly off there, because I'm gonna be threatening some stuff like bishop c7 if he tries for too much. So like rook a6, queen b7, rook b6, queen c7, for example, or even queen a7 is possible. And of course, if he takes with a pawn, then it's clear that white has an advantage. Okay, I'm going to go for that, and now I'm going to go for queen. Yeah, queen a7. And now bishop c7. And queen takes a5. That's my plan. Probably, yeah. Okay, black has some compensation, but actually queen c5 is also an interesting move here, but I'm gonna take. That was my plan to begin with. Okay, and bishop c7. That far I saw, and I thought that even in the worst case scenario, I'll lose the a pawn, but I'll still have a good position. But here c5 I think is a little early. I think black's in trouble to lose the d pawn as well now. Bishop takes f6 is threatened, and okay, bishop takes d4, I guess. Knight d4, yeah. No, nice everything here. Extra pawn, and anyway you cut it, black is going to be suffering a pawn or more down. Okay, now probably just rook b1 makes sense to go to the 8th rank. Okay, that stopped that, but it didn't stop this knight and pawn ending, which is quite nice. I understand black is going to play it, but that's not an easy endgame to hold, considering it's objectively lost. I'm going to keep the a pawn. That's the tougher pawn to defend against. Even though I lose a tempo by not attacking the d pawn, I can now probably just go a5, king, a6. Yeah, I can just keep that pawn rolling now. And on knight c5 I have knight c7. Yeah, that was a nice win. An endgame in 29 moves. How about that? Okay, so what actually happened there was quite interesting, especially since I didn't actually remember playing that maneuver before. So here black is playing basically Grunfeld, and with some Chebanenko ideas, the a6 lines, and I play a4 to stop that, and black of course plays a5. That makes a lot of sense to make the a6 square available for the knight. I castle. Now why not knight a6? I thought I will take on d5 and use the b5 square for my pieces. and I thought I would have a slight advantage there because black's bishop on g7 isn't doing much. But bishop g4, then I hit the pawn, rook a7, and now h3. Now, of course, I want that bishop, but here the pawn is hanging, so black plays e6, and I play bishop e2 with this concealed positional trap that I'm waiting for knight a6. It's really a prophylactic move I made. Now black plays knight a6, and after takes, I think he should have taken with a knight. Then I would have probably just played bishop g3, and I would have had a nice center plus the two bishops. But black, I think, made the mistakes of taking the pawn, and then after this, I think he had to go with rook takes, because pawn takes is just it's just not very nice. I mean, I'm just going to double, triple, whatever on the c file, and things are going to fall away. And after queen takes pawn, rook b6 takes. I have this move bishop c7, and simply taking the pawn. Now here, I think black could have played some other move, maybe knight e8 or something. But still, after knight e8, bishop f4, c5, knight takes d5. Black is continuing to be a pawn down, but I think that was definitely better than this move, c5. Now the d5 pawn is hanging, and now black is completely tied up. Can't really do anything. And then after the switch of rooks, now I'm threatening rook b8, rook b5, all of that. Knight d7 allows me to go into this winning knight and pawn ending, and here black resigned because after knight c5, knight c7, a6 is threatened, and the d5 pawn is threatened. So black, I think, resigned correctly. Okay, here we have another opponent. Okay, stopping the London, good idea. Aha, feistiness is his best. Okay, how should I deal with this? Let me try, I don't know, I'm not going to try that. Actually, I will try that. Bishop g5. I just want black to play h6, and then I'll go bishop back to f4. I'm not going to go bishop h4, because after g5, e5, there'll be trap that I won't be able to I don't want to fall into. So anyway, I don't know why I actually did that. Now h6, maybe on h6. What do I play on h6? I don't know. I think my opponent will also get confused pretty much here, so it's okay. We're gonna be in a confusion stage. Well, actually, he wasn't that confused. So bishop h4, g5, e4, or e3, gh, and I get nothing for my bishop, right? So time to bring it all the way back, I think. But h6 is a nice weakness to get. Now e4 is possible. Okay, I don't know how good it is, but it's possible. Let's try it. And now I'm going to try to win back that piece with a nice series of checks, right? Knight takes knight, queen h5, followed by queen f5. Interesting. Anyway, black has a lot of weaknesses on the light squares, so. Oh boy, I'm wrong. Knight takes knight. No, I'm right. Okay, but this move is yelling for punishment. What happens on queen e2? Even bishop d3. I'm going to go bishop d3. Queen e2 is also interesting. Light squares, light squares. Could be lights out on these light squares. Now knight takes knight, gets mated in one move. Well, two, but who's counting? Interesting stuff. I think black should have played knight takes knight, queen h5, king d7, queen f5, and then move the king over to the queen side. Who knows what the position is? I think white's a little better because of the advanced pawn on d5, but it is a kind of murky. Now black has given up lots of light squares. E6, G6, H5. All reeking. Oh my god. I can understand him thinking here. I'd be doing some serious thinking. G5, mamma mia. G5. Well, knight G5 looks good, right? But there's something stronger. I think I'm gonna just grab that extra pawn. Plus my knight's going to where it wants to go. E6. HG, bishop G6 mate. A 10 mover. Didn't happen. Okay, fine. Now the knight's going... Well, actually, wait a second. Bishop B5. Bishop D7, knight E6. That is so scrumptious. My god, I'm going for that. And queen A5, bishop D2. And still, my pawn's untakeable. Look at that knight. Isn't that a beauty on E6? It's a complete beauty, right? Yes, so queen A5, bishop D2, queen takes bishop, knight C7 check. So black correctly avoids that. And I'm going to take that bishop. And I'm going to go for the strongest piece black has. Which... Well, actually, there is queen E4, queen D4 check, which I don't want to happen. So maybe I should play C3 first. But then he plays queen B5. Interesting. So perhaps I have to play knight E2, knight C3 to avoid the check on C3, on E4 rather. Okay, let me do that. Okay, that happened. My idea of moving the knight was to cover the E4 square. That was my idea. Okay, now that will take black a couple of moves, and I'm willing to invest the pawn into winning that much time. That could be very, very dangerous for black now. Queen C3, rook B1, followed by bishop B2 and bishop takes knight. And what good piece does black have left? Okay, queen G4 actually makes a lot of sense to me, but because trading queens would be black's dream now. But I don't want to trade queens. I'm going to go with F3 and then F4. I want the queens on the board. My king is better than his. There it goes. Kick him from the E5 square. The bishop can't move. That I just noticed. The bishop from F8 can't really move. That's really tough. If the queens weren't off, he couldn't move, right? If I could play queen D3 next move, for example, just to trade them, that would be a horrendous position for black. But maybe I'll play queen E2 instead. Queen D3 does look very nice. But you know what? I'm going to play rook B1 first to try to just break through here. And then queen E2 to break through to B5. Now there's no A6 because the rook takes B6, so I kind of prepared that. And queen B5 is made in 3, by the way. Queen B5, queen C6, queen C7, so it's no joke. I mean, sometimes I do kid around, but this is not going to be a joke if I check on B5. Be pretty serious business here. And defending against that is also kind of complicated. King E8, knight C7 check, picks up a rook. I don't know what else can black even attempt. Yeah, resigning is a good attempt actually of not getting mated. Okay, this took 20 moves. Very good. What happened? Who knows? F5, very rarely played and highly anti-position variation, but to actually remember how you're supposed to deal with it is always tough. I've done many things in my life, including dealing with this variation the correct way, but here I tried this weird move, bishop g5, kind of hoping for h6, e4. I mean bishop h4, g5, bishop g3, f4, e3. But I noticed that black has queen a5 check, and there's no mate on h5 at some point. So this is actually not such a great idea. So here I decided just to pull it back. But look, black created some weaknesses on his king side, and what did he do with this c5 early c5 maneuver? Allowed me the nice square e6 for my advanced pawn d5. So now after knight f6, okay, e4 is a bit optimistic, but on the other hand, why not? Why not? Knight takes knight. If queen a5, bishop d2. If knight takes knight, queen check, forcing king d7. g6 doesn't help much. Queen f5 check, king c7, and queen takes knight. And then we get that weird position where I think, I don't know, I should be better. Anyway, playing light from Germany. Good luck. Okay. If you don't want the center, I'll grab it. I don't mind. Okay. What do we have here? A weird looking position. Straight out the box. Okay. I'm okay with this because I realize that I can't be bad. I can't be doing too badly. If white play d3, that means I'll save a tempo on playing f5 at some point. Okay. So probably get this bishop away from me. It's not going to be that useful. Well, I'm going to try to hold something on the queen side a bit. Okay, now d6. And now d6. And I'm going to play for expansion of the queen side. Knight h6 maybe, although I'm not sure. Knight h6. Normally I would play knight e7, but who knows here. Okay, here a4 makes sense, f5 makes sense, and even knight h4 makes sense to me. Lots of things to do. As always, I'm going to go with the positional a4, which I can hopefully use for later against white's queen side. Okay, that's a standard reaction, but I'm going to castle. And now white has to hold fronts from all directions, I think. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how I should do this. I'm going to go active here. As active as possible. e4 and knight e5. I think that's my plan. e4, knight e5. Maybe some trouble with black's king side. Okay, this is an attempt to win my pawn, which is fine. Okay, I'm going to improve my knight. I think it's been out of commission for too long here. So I'm just going to improve it here to f6. And attack a pawn while doing that. Okay, I thought I could just take on c5 if that happens. I wasn't that worried. And now I thought I could just play b6. d6 I can move away. I'm not a proud guy. Meanwhile, bishop a6 is now a new idea for my pieces at some point. Also, knight blocking the d6, the d5 pawn is also a good idea. Okay, white decides probably correctly to get rid of that d pawn before he gets into trouble. But I think I'm better here. I think I'm way better, in fact, somehow. Just have to find the way to build the initiative. Should I play b5, c4? Is that the best? Or just play bishop b7 for now? Bishop b7, queen f5, knight h, bishop g2. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna play b5, I think. Hard to. Okay, I'm gonna play bishop b7. I just want to attack that diagonal. That's such a scrumptious diagonal to attack. On the other hand, I want to switch off the knight and the bishop, so hard to say what was best. But certainly white's got to start putting his thinking cap on if he doesn't want to get destroyed here. Okay, that is not a good move for the reason listed above. Bishop takes g2. Okay, now I got choices. Knight e4, knight h4, and maybe just queen b7. Just queen b7, queen b7. Kind of step away from all that stuff. I'm trying to break through on the long diagonal. Yeah, white's in trouble. Okay, knight c4. Okay, how about knight h4 now? And then knight f3, knight e1. And something's bound to happen that's not very nice for black, for white rather. Okay, well, that's a piece though. That's a full piece which I'm happy to eat up. Very happy to eat up. Full piece up. And another under 30 move game. Wow. Not really taking them too seriously, my opponents, I guess. Told you I did well. Okay, well, e3, we know what to say about that, right? White, I don't know, finger failure, as they say in Germany. Slip of the finger. e3, e5, d4, knight c6. Okay, d5. So normally there's even a line with the pawn on e4, which is still okay for black, reasonably okay. So here I think black should be okay, like with an extra tempo. This is like the Scandinavian, with the Scandinavian for white. If imagine you play e4, d5, knight c3, d4, knight e2. That would be that position, but with a pawn on e3, I think it's actually better on e2. Anyway, c4, knight g6, queen c2, bishop b4. I'm just inserting that bishop through because I want to lock it up with d6 and open up my other bishop, but I don't want that to think about my dark squared bishop's development. So here I could have taken on d2 and then done d6, but I said why not try to do something out of the center with this. So I played a5, bishop g3, d6, and now the bishop feels quite safe there, propped by the a pawn. And now knight h6. Again, don't know why I don't play knight e7. In fact, the only reason is that white could play h4, and this way I still am keeping my eye on h4. So that's probably why. a3 takes, and now okay, a4 is not completely necessary. First of all, white's not threatening b4, but white could play knight c3 and then solidify his rook and then play b4, taking control of the queen side. So I said no, let me take control of the queen side. It may be worth it. White decided to react very aggressively, c5, which makes sense. And finally I castled and white castled. And now f5. I was thinking of playing e4, knight e5 here to get my knight into the game and start some operation on the king side. Maybe with knight f3 check at some point, some sacrifice somewhere. It'll grandeur, illusions of grandeur were in my eye. Anyway, bishop b5 was not considered a big threat, and now played knight g4. Now, okay, white could have taken on d6 first, but then on bishop a4, knight takes h2, followed by queen h4 check, followed by queen takes bishop, was my idea. So my pawn is indirectly defended, and now again it is. Anyway, it was a fun game, and let's see how Drunken Knight handles himself here. Okay, he handles himself well. Okay. Basically, we have my favorite London system, a bit misplayed by white, is what we have. This position is quite equal, in my opinion. I played it many times. And this pin should be annoying. A bit annoying. On c4 I might even have d4 now, which could be annoying, although maybe not, because then g4 is possible. So on c4 probably just rook e8, awaiting context. Okay, that's a nice invitation to beheading, I believe. This is not a great position for white. Now the only thing is I have to think about how to deal with the pawns. Should I play for d4 or not? Probably move my queen first, move it to h5, and then go with d4. I think that's logical, but why not play yeah, I'm gonna go for it immediately. In fact, when you want to open something up, do it. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Okay, I'm gonna okay, check. Let's see, what do we have? An endgame or not an endgame here? Yeah, on queen f3, pawn takes pawn was winning, so white could not actually go into an endgame. Okay, now what? Let's pin that e pawn and use the d pawn as our major weapon here. My idea is to play g6 and okay, now where? Queen e6, e5, knight d5. No, let's go to b6 for now. Okay, knight d5, knight d5, and now queen g6 check. That was my little Traperouzzi. Traperouzzi on the doozy. On queen takes queen, I'm gonna go knight f4 and win a pawn. And otherwise I'm gonna go knight f4 and win a pawn. And on king f3, interesting. Maybe queen h5 check and rook d8. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the queens here. Ah, queen here. Okay, and rook d8. Okay. No endgame still after so many invitations. After so many invitations, still g6 is what I want to play, and knight e7. Okay, knight e7 now. Interesting. Okay, time to move my knight into an interesting position. Now check was what I thought. And now check. My opponent's playing like the best moves here. Ho 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 ho. Okay. Now what? Okay, now I'm gonna play rook e8 and take. That's not the best move, I don't think. Simply that, huh? Okay. Wow. It's interesting. Why would I be better here, huh? Good question. Good question. All right, let's try to get something going. Okay. Interesting position. Okay, now white will be moving his pawns up, huh? That would be very scary. Okay. Check. And here. Okay. Wow. What a tough game. That was a tough game. Yeah, well, looks like very good game for I don't know if I should even try something. I'll try something. Why not? Wow. That's not such a hot move. Okay, this looks like a draw. Okay, tough game. Very interesting, but tough game. I thought I was a little better, but it's difficult to prove. My opponent was making some at one point he started to make some very good moves. So this position looks like black should have a good advantage. But really the bishop is quite a sturdy piece. So here, e4, queen c6, takes, rook c1. Now, the problem is white is going to play e5. So to deal with it, I have to figure something out. I thought this tactic would be very strong, but white found a very good move. King f3, threatening to just take, well, threatening to I don't know, to take the pawn on d4, I guess. So I checked and played rook d8, but now white again is displacing this really strong knight. Perhaps knight b4 was the way to go. Although I don't know, e6 could be very dangerous. Knight b4 e6 would be a killer. So I played knight e7. Now at least on e6 I have queen g6 check. Okay, I would have had it in the other case too, but in the other case there's something happening with e7 which wins the rook. Here it's blocked. So rook c7 and then knight g6, and white continues his attempt to get active. And now what to do? If I move my knight, rook g1 is what I was afraid of. So I played queen f4. That was what I thought would be fine. Yeah, now I had to really probably restructure my thoughts. Maybe I had to save one of the pawns on the queen side. I don't really know how to do that though. It's always a back rank problem. So I played rook e8, rook takes b7, rook e5, rook a7, and now if I simply take these pawns like knight d3, rook f5, even rook d4 could be very dangerous because I don't have time to take on f2. So I played h5 and we got into descending, which I think would be very could be dangerous for me. Anyway, probably last but not least, let's see how this game goes. Okay, yesterday I actually had 2 games that went like this in the Marshall Chess Club. Okay, gonna save my pawn, I'll try to. There it is. Save my pawn for now. Black's turn to think, huh? Okay, I mean Black's main moves here are probably knight e4, I don't know, pawn takes pawn, bishop e7, something like that. Lots to think about. Yeah, b6 is what I played against against Grishuk, and it's not too good. Yeah, this is not a very good position for black. I have to say this pawn structure leaves black little if no hope. I'm actually gonna rub it in a bit. I don't want black to castle either. Okay, this is already a bit resignable, I think, but let's see how the game goes. Okay, bring in my knight. Not only can black castle, he can move his bishop. Okay, exchanges should favor the stronger at this point. Knight c4, knight d6 is a killer, but there's no reason for it. There's no reason to rush here at all. No reason to rush at all in this position. Here it is. Can't even escape to f7. Knight e5 check kills him. Ay ay ay, poison pawn. I feel for you, but I can't help you. Too late. Can't even give you good advice. Play the move. But that loses a bishop at least, right? Knight f7 check, knight e4 check, and knight takes bishop check. One of those three moves is going to be my next one. Well, that's going to be knight e4 check. All right. Well, that was a nice run. One draw, a few wins, and all the wins under 30 moves. This was Grandmaster Max Dlugy with Take It to the Max show. I'll see you next week, and hope you guys do much better than today. All right, take care and bye bye.